Hello, everybody. It's Techstack here. We're starting up Eclipse. This is all the work we did last night. It feels like we did so much more in that 6 hours or where. But it is what it is. This is all it took to code-wise. You know, there's some images and some reference files and stuff like that, but most of this isn't that bad, right? So I think we made good progress. I will admit I'm not happy with the way that the holo scanner looks last night. But we can work on that, right? We can do some things to see if there's a better way, better look to it, right? In fact, we got that open over here in my other window while Eclipse takes its sweet time opening up here. So this is what it looks like. Still not fond of it. Yeah. It is what it is. Maybe we just have it always project the 1x1 bounds. Oops. And that would be enough to... Where is my undo? To tell the player where the thing is, and then we can leave it square. I don't know. Where's my undo? Or redo? Redo. What? Redo. Okay, then we just won't save it then. That's an easy way to undo it. Let's fire it up. I'm kind of foggy what it looked like, what it did. I don't think we had any of the laser beams actually shooting out of it. That's probably what we need to do next. We need a axis-aligned bounding box in order to achieve that, I think. That'd be the best. Let's fire up Restream too so we can get those notifications, even though they were annoying at times just because they're on this window. There we go. I can hear if you guys are messaging me. So wait, I can set this always on top. Appearance. Compact, always on top. Oop. Now I can access my music without losing the thing. Cool. They're on top of each other. So if I open this, okay. So where is it? It's nowhere. Holo scanner. Yeah, we're definitely not rendering anything as far as the beams or the bounding box this thing's projecting. It would always default to 111, so that would mean it's going to do this block right here, right? So we can try and render that block, I think. Or that frame for that block. We're going to need the axis line bounding box, which means we need to know what the tile entity's coordinates are. Yeah, okay, so we got the tile entity. Do we know that it's a tile entity of the right type? We don't have any cast to the right type, so we're gonna have to do that. Let's do it after we render the actual block. It seems like the right place to do it. GL11.gl. What am I doing? Tile entity. Let's see. So if tile entity instance of tile entity holo scanner, and then tile entity holoscanner tile TEHS equals tile entity holoscanner. We're just casting the tile entity into that. Okay. Now that we've got that, TEHS dot front, right and left. Okay, cool. So we can take the position of this as one coordinate of the axis aligned bounding box, shifted to the north, no, shifted towards its facing direction. Maybe. Okay, we're going to have to take some math into this based on the facing direction, which we've got set to EF up here. So we can still use that because it's up here. We're defining that. That's good. Let's put some comments. Render the bounding box of this machine, or this area, it will scan. Okay. We need a position 1 and a position 2, right? So we can actually probably query the block, the tile entity itself for some of that. So let's offload that. Let's offload some of this work to the tile entity. So this up, right, and front are going to be added to the position of the block with plus its facing position, right? So where are we setting these? We're only setting these down here, right? And in here. We probably need to modify our code to use not the actual variable, so we can make these privates, add setters and getters, and then in the setters and getters, we can add the extra calculation call that says update this calculation, basically. That, or we can do it in our update call and just cache the prior value and only call update when it's changed. Or call this calculate thing when it's changed. That's probably what we'll do. So we'll do public block position 0.1, public block position 0.2. Okay, and in this update call, we're going to say what? 3 integers are small memory footprint. So we'll do 3 more. Put last in front of them. Make them private so nobody messes with them. So if last front does not equal front, or last right does not equal right, or last up does not equal up, then we're going to say, let's set those the same so the next time around it doesn't do it again. So last front equals front, last up or right equals right, last up equals up. Okay, and then in here we calculate the whole shebang. So let's actually go back to here and grab this piece where we're calculating this stuff and put it in here. Okay, and then we don't need tile entities. We say this dot world dot that get block state, blah blah blah. This dot get position. This dot get world. This dot get position. There we go. We don't need any of this GL stuff in here. Okay. So really what we're going to do with this is we're going to determine what point 1 is. So point 1 equals this dot position, like that. And we're going to do the same for all these. And we're going to figure it out in real time what it actually should be when the game's running. Because I'm not sure which one needs to be which direction. So we're going to add 1 to some of these, basically. What that means. Then point 2 down here, point 2 dot equals this dot get position. No, equals point 1. Point 1 dot okay, and then we're gonna add in an offset based on something. Well, up will be easy. So up would be the up amount. And I think that returns a block position when we do that, right? Yes. So we're going up that amount, then right? I can't do right. We need to determine the right direction. So is it northeast, southwest, right? So offset, there we go. Okay, that might work. If we just passed in enum facing, assuming that's the correct one, we might also need to go opposite or east, south, whatever. Is there a right? There's no right. We could rotate it around the axis a set amount, so if we need to rotate it 90 degrees or whatever, based on the enum facing. Cool. So that could be EF, and then front, and then offset EF dot rotate around axis 90 degrees, right? Because we want to rotate it 90 degrees to get the right side, comma, right. Now, the question is, enum facing axis. Oh, okay. Enum facing axis dot the y-axis, right? So we want to rotate around the y-axis by what? How much does it rotate by, though? Okay, switch axis, so it's the y-axis. If this does not equal up, then this... Oh, if it's not up and it's not down, then we rotate y, which rotate y takes its current and just goes around the compass, basically. Okay. That makes sense to me, because if our facing direction is north, we want it to go to the east by the right amount. So this should work. This portion, this last portion of this should work. So that should give us 0.2. And then those are publics. Those are publics. So back in our renderer, we can say we've got this, and we'll create a... Do we need to create an axis aligned bounding box? I don't know. I mean, there's easy ways to draw axis aligned bounding box, is there? I don't think that there is. I think you have to do it all manually still. So if that's the case, the bounding box doesn't matter. Other than we can get like its minimum and maximum maybe. Let's do it that way then. So axis. We also could just calculate it in the... That's what we'll do. We'll calculate it on the tile entity. That way we're not doing it every frame. And then public axis. Oh, come on. Align bounding box. My area BB. Okay. And area BB equals new axis. And those two block positions, 0.1 and 0.2. Here we go. So now we can do TEHS dot this dot max min. There we go. Okay, so now to draw it, actually, let me get some reference code from another mod that I love. I believe we need to just do GL render code with the begin and all that. Do we have a tester in here? We do. Do we have the buffer? I don't think we do. So let's grab that. So we're gonna do testlater dot buffer get buffer, and that's a byte buffer, I think it's called. Yeah, byte buffer builder. Here we go. So buffer builder bb equals that bb dot begin, and we're gonna do gl lines gl11 dot lines, and it's gonna be default vertex def, well, default vertex format dot position for now. We might also do color, I don't know. Okay, and then we need to do a bb dot no, we need to do a tester dot draw to actually get that stuff going, and then bb dot that begin. It's not begin. We need an end vertex at the end of it. Let me see. I had it open the other day. All the code I needed. That is not it. That is not it. That is not it. Okay. It was in my overlay code. Don't think that's in here anymore. No. There's a handler, render overlay. Here it is. Position. I just need position. Okay. Dot position. Dot what? B dot position. Dot AABB dot dot area bounding box dot min x. I'm debating if I create another call that takes a buffer builder, the bounding box, and does all these calls for me, because I might need to do this again. Probably will. Let's build it out here, and then we'll move it into my helper class. tsh dot area bb min y, and the same for min z. Okay, dot in vertex. Okay, And then we're going to do one more point, so we'll get one single line out of this, and we're just going to go to the max x. Everything else should be the same. We're going to need a total of how many lines? There's 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top, and 4 around the verticals. So that's 12 lines. So we're going to need... that's one line, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, I just had an idea. I bet there's something in Minecraft that actually does this already, and maybe we can utilize that. Now, we wouldn't control the color or any of its properties as much, but let's look. So, axis line bounding box, where are all you used? Get render bounding box. There we go. So, it's using a bounding box. What's it doing with it? Hey, Red. Working on the mod, specifically something we're calling a hollow scanner, which is going to be a way of blueprinting blocks, and those blueprints can then be used in what's the word? The tower crane to build those blueprints. This is just get render bounding box. This is not... What is this code? It's a tile entity code. But where's that used? Because that's the page I want. Is bounding box in? Okay, it is. Oh, it's just seeing if it should be drawn. It's not actually drawing it. Like the debug code for F3B is what I want to try and see if I can find. There you go. Render debug neighbor update, maybe that? Draw selection bounding box. Render global. Oh, it does take colors even. Let's try it. Let's try it, see what we get, just to get this up and running, because there's lots of places this could be wrong. So it'll be tehs.areabb. That should be it, right? Oh no, the colors. What was it? Red, green, blue, and alpha. So 1.5, because I don't know what it should be looking like if 0 or 1's transparent. I didn't start Steam Dream avatars. You guys gotta remind me that. I don't have it up. It's not on purpose. There we go. So let's save this and run it, see if we get a bounding box drawn. We need to also disable these two, don't we? And this, so we don't get any errors. This is going to call it that, which is going to call it this, which is going to call the buffer builder, and draw a bounding box, which is going to calculate the min, the max. Basically what I was going to do. I bet there's 12 of these. No, there should be 24. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Really, only 9? Maybe I counted something wrong there. That's weird. Okay. Where's the game at? Where are you starting at? Wait, is this from now? 1350? No, that's gonna be from last night. No, wait. What? I'm confused. We'll just play it. Too many windows open. Okay, what is airing off? The tower crane. What? Oh, that's interesting. File not found. Config my blueprints. Access is denied. What the heck? What the heck? Why is it access denied? That makes no sense. Do we fill up the disk or something? Let's check disk space first, because that's possible. Nah, we're good. I get what you're saying, but like, it should still have access to read and write to it. I mean, I'll break it. I don't care. We'll figure that one out later. We're not working on Talk right now, right? Let's close this out and restart it, because that could have caused all sorts of funkiness when it crashed on that startup. I'm not confident it's gonna work, to be honest. After what just happened there. But I'm happy to be pleasantly surprised that it does work. I got a ping somewhere in Discord. News. What? Is that really what you guys pinged me? Okay. 7 Days to Die is just pinging me that there's a new... You think it's gonna work, Eagle, huh? You have more confidence in this than me, because I don't think that the tile entity thing, or the tower crane thing, caused this to not work. I'm just being paranoid, making sure. Yeah, see, it's not. No bounding box anywhere. Now, I need to do that. Nope. Nothing. So let's first take and troubleshoot it by going to here and setting a breakpoint at this part. Okay. Let's go in there and push a button. Boop. Good. It does get into this code then. We are on the client thread, so that's good. You want to actually show me where you're at now? Catch up, Eclipse. I might switch to the other IDE today. Any problems this thing's giving me? So the chat messages or notifications, I could see that getting annoying. Yeah, so I've always had, you know, where it played the ding sound or something when somebody would chat with me, and I used Restream for that. Well, Restream opened their or updated their app. Come on, show me everything again. Dang it. Anyway, it updated their app, and when they did, it changed how it works, and now it's using the Windows 10 notification system, which I don't really care for, and I can't make the sound different. Before, there was an option that was like, if they message you, play a different sound, and I made it like play the arrow hit sound and stuff, just to get my attention more, but whatever. The other ID, so IntelliJ, that's what a lot of the mod authors use. It's supported by Forge from the standpoint of there's the Forge Gradle commands work with it, all that stuff. I just didn't use it for one simple reason. I know how to set Eclipse up to do the auto formatting of my code the way I like it, right? So if I type this like this and I don't change it, I just hit save, it puts it on the same line, right? So I don't have to format all the code, or if I forget to tab it in right, it formats it in as soon as I hit save. That's all I wanted to do. That's the only thing I ever use Eclipse for. If that's in IntelliJ IDE, I would use IntelliJ. As many problems as I have with this. Now, it's not to say that IntelliJ won't have its own issues. Maybe it will. But that stuff drives me bonkers. When, like, yet last night I was changing, what was it, the model and the texture, right? So from this resource folder. And Eclipse just was blind to the fact that I changed those files at all. Okay, so that just makes me want to do it even more, knowing that somebody else I know actually uses it. Like I would change, say, this PNG file, and IntelliJ would, or Eclipse wouldn't know that it was there, and in Minecraft while it was running wouldn't show it. I'd restart Minecraft, it wouldn't show it. I'd have to go in here and hit right click and go refresh that, or go to project and clean and have it recompile everything from scratch. And it was so annoying because it would happen sometimes and not others, and an unreliable issue is worse than one that happens every time. If it happens every time, I know, like, oh, okay, I changed it, I need to refresh. Anywho, that was a rant, sorry. So it is getting in a numeration facing. It says it's facing east, so it's getting the position of the block and saving that to 0.1. It's at 856.1, sure. We're saying the last update stuff, and then let's just jump over this and see if this is different. 1361.8. So they are different. Our up value is 5. Our 0.1 is, got a Y of 56, 61, that sounds right. Front 5, so it's either going to be, looks like it's on the x-axis in this case. And right is 7, so we're at Z1 and Z8. So it is, they may not be in the correct direction, like north, south, east, west, but it is expanding the 2 points by the correct amount. Okay, let's step over that. Then we've got those bounds correctly set. If we can look at the box down there. Okay, so let's continue running. Then we can get rid of this piece. We can go into the renderer and see if this piece is getting called. It is. Interesting. So let's step into this one. Into that one. So we're getting the test later. The buffer builder. Drawing bounding box. I wonder what mode 3 is. It may not be lines. That could be why there's not 12 of these. Maybe they're doing like a line strip or something. We got alpha fit 50%, so you should be able to see it. Even if like I was wrong and 1 or 0 is not the full alpha, 50% you should see it, I would think. Unless my GL draw mode is wrong, it's for blending. That could be it. So let's set it to 1. That or these colors aren't 1 scale, like they're 256 scale. Okay, let's try that. So if I F3 this and then go call hierarchy, we can see where it's being called and get the values that it's being called with. So this is the bounding box. That's calling it with 0 for everything. Huh. That's the part I've been looking for ages. I think this is the code that's drawing the black bounding box of what you're looking at. Yeah, mouse over. And it's not... What? Draw black highlights. Wow, okay. So what's this one doing? Rendering, debug render collision box. Okay. It's at 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So everything's 1. Which is how we're doing it. We'll make sure they're floats, but that shouldn't really do anything. Geo line width, maybe? That could be. Oop. The heck? Dang, Eagle. Got it first try? Expert timing, man. We're gonna do it this way. We're gonna take all these settings because that could be the issue. And then disable them back off or whatever after we do the call. Because I was also gonna do some of these anyway, so. Did I save it? I saved it. See, like right now, my confidence that Eclipse is actually injecting the code is very low. I don't know if it's actually running those statements. Just because it's been so buggy lately. Oh, we're setting giant line width twice. Oh, there comes a crash. No, it just locks up. Yeah, Eclipse is updated. Gosh. This is December of last year that I got this one. I'm sure there's probably a newer one, but they've had these same issues for several versions. You probably can't see my start menu here, but I've got 3 different versions of Eclipse, 4 different versions of Eclipse on my start menu, 5 different versions of Eclipse on my start menu. I've been using it for that long, right? I have no idea why this is locked up right now. Oh, I know. Because it's being dumb and it's locked it somewhere. On a breakpoint that I don't want it to break on. There we go. Because they're not actually installed like a normal Windows program where they could interfere with each other. You basically just download it and unzip it to a folder, and they're all in different folders. I have the older versions from like the Spigot plugin stuff I was working on, just because I know I don't have to fiddle with anything extra setting-wise. Word exception, render block entity. What? Why is that a render exception for that? That's vanilla code. Oh, line 90. Okay. It must be null. Okay. So if right when we first place it, it doesn't have a bounding box to do, even though it should, but whatever. Oop. If fact intel, I've got it. IntelliJ. I was gonna use it. I couldn't get it. What was it? I don't know. There was something I was trying to update to 1.14 that I was using it for. Don't ask me what. Oh, I know. Somebody had created some like remappings of the names. So you know when you go into Minecraft and like on 1.10 versus 1.12, they've renamed all the MCP mappings, and that causes it to. You have to rewrite all your code to give the new mappings. Well, somebody's got a file that they use in Eclipse that handles that. Or not Eclipse, in IntelliJ. It will just automatically rename all those things based on that mapping file you give it, and just done. Your code's updated to 1.14 for the simple stuff, right? Just the renames. I'm sure you'd still have errors, but it saves a lot of time, I think. Maybe I'll, once we get done with this branch for this stuff, make another branch in GitHub and just switch. I'll make it as another branch because there could be a lot of updates that occur to the files if it's slightly different formatting. You know, tabs versus spaces, all that kind of stuff. Personally, I don't care tabs versus spaces as long as it's consistent from one save to the next, so it doesn't create a bunch of extra garbage in your commits. Where are you, line? I'm ready to draw it myself because apparently I can't get this thing to do it itself. So we're gonna create our own method. It's basically gonna work like this one. We're gonna take the bounding box and probably just the bounding box for now. We can add the color stuff to it later. So let's create our own method. Public void draw bounding box. And we're gonna move this to a different thing later, but here will work for now. Access the line bounding box, BB, boom. And we're just gonna say terminate, I don't care. You're not working anyway. Why is it draw or something? Okay, and then bye-bye, bye-bye. Aw, come on, uncomment. That's the other thing. I know the shortcuts for IDE or for Eclipse, not IntelliJ. Is there an on comment? Remove comment block. Cool. It doesn't think it's commented. Probably because that one line in between wasn't commented. There we go. Okay, and then we just say bounding box. Okay, and then tessellator, 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 get instance. So that should draw a single line along the x-axis of whatever that is. While that's loading, let's fire up IntelliJ and see if it's got any updates or anything it wants to do. Automatic or whatever. Did it really take us long to load IntelliJ? Wow. Kind of hoped it'd be faster. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to launch it and see if it's going to recommend updating or what. Oh, heck. It's definitely getting to that piece of code. It's just not rendering. Or is it rendering in... Come on, let me see the game. On my screen somewhere in 2D space. Because I ended up finding out... you guys weren't there, I don't think. When I was streaming earlier this week, I was trying to see if I could do the tower crane. When it's in your hand, have it render something on the screen. Or in the world to show you where it was going to build at. I realized it was actually rendering it on the screen because I was doing it as an overlay. Which was not what I wanted. It says it's up to date. It's ready to update, sorry. So the full releases don't let you... It doesn't let you go between a year within it? Okay. So I'll need to do a reinstall. That's what I needed to know. I don't see anything on my screen even. Anything in the world. Let's take this. Take me to 0, 0, please. TP displayer 0. Relative height and 0. Come on, don't fall away out of the world. There we go. Why am I down here? I want to see if it renders down here at 0, 0 for some reason, or close to it. Just in case I've got some world coordinate to local coordinate type issue. Okay, let's place one of these things. Pop. And is it rendering? No, it's not trying to render because we didn't open the GUI yet. Now it's trying. Oh, there it is. Right there. We didn't pop the matrix. We want to pop the matrix and the problem goes away. And then we push the matrix again and pop it again. So in here we can do that, I guess. So GL11, GL pop, or push matrix, sorry. And GL pop matrix. Always helps go into the local world coordinates, local home, when doing rendering stuff. There it is. Okay, so that's going to be an issue. If the tile entity is off the screen, we're calling it. But there it is. It's local to me, it looks like, instead of the block. Okay, how do we fix that? We translate first, is what we did there. We can translate again to the position of the entity. Now it's local to the entity itself. Cool. So hopefully you guys can see that. I know it's like kind of dark down here at the bottom of the world, but it is there. It is drawing a line right there. Now it's coming out of the center of the block. That's okay. We can fix that with our translation or our stuff down here, right? We are drawing at the min y, which the min y should be the bottom of this block. So we're translating something incorrectly, I think. I draw another one. Do that. Where is it? This line going to be? Oh, right. We gotta increment and decrement. There we go. Still no line. What? It's trying to render it. Why is it not drawing? Is it drawing up in the air? It is. Okay. Now, is it drawing in the air because of what we've set it at? So let's set everything at 1. No. I almost think we don't need to translate up the Y position at all. leave it at 0. Nope, that puts it based on my height again, so that was correct. So y minus 1, so it's at the bottom. Is the scale of it off? That could be, could not. Maybe it's not correct. Oh, no, we're popping the matrix. So the scale should be reset at that point. Let's do this, because we do that in all of our rendering calls. Let's put them all to 1, or higher than 1. There we go. Starting from the origin of the block. It's currently set to 3, so 1 block, and it's not even like rendering past that block. Oh, don't die. Let's get out of the bottom of the world too. Wow, is it drawing underground again? What the heck? My wife might be on. Let's leave it there. Go to the bottom of the world. Oh, excuse me. And see where this thing is drawing at. I don't see it. Okay, let's go to the top of the world. Is it drawing in the air somewhere? It is. I don't know if you can see it there or not. I have to get that on my screen as well, but there's a line right there. So it's taking the Y of the block and adding it to wherever we're trying to draw this at. So when we're calculating this bounding box, it doesn't need the offset? What? For the Y? I will be right back. Actually, hang on a sec. Let me stream avatars. Copy. And this, we will put a reference of that. So we've got that there. We will bump it down 1. And bump this up 1. And I will do basketball. So I'll be right back. Hello. Okay. So, oh, nobody tried basketball. Boo. What is going on with this? It's a simple rendering bug, but it's gonna drive me bonkers. We're rendering it based on the position, so we're already setting the position to this. So if we translate this to 0, and then set it to 60 in the other piece of code, why didn't I not change anything? The scale also does not need to happen. What? Is translate even doing anything? I thought it was. Okay, it did move it. We like need to subtract off the position of the block, I think. Because it's being drawn. How is it being drawn relative to the block? We're giving it world coordinates, I thought. I thought this takes world coordinates. Okay, so my code does this junk as well. In my utility, machine mod helper, it's gonna get the model parts. Nope. It's getting a list of quads from it. We used to do the positions in one of the older versions. Okay. Let's see. So this whole hierarchy. Minus the delta, whatever the delta is in any player's last position. All right. Split, slot icon, do render, or fireball. Not doing lines though. Of course, that's my bounding box stuff. The min XY max. Let's get both these on the screen at the same time. So we're drawing the bounding box. We're not doing anything with this. We've pushed the matrix. We've popped the prior matrix. We're not translating anything. So let's try and position this somewhere else. It's this one, right? Let's set them all to like 4 or something. There it is. Now, is that 4 because... Is that over that far because we set the right position? Okay, the front definitely sets the length. But it's not directly above us anymore. Now, if I go further in this direction and place it... It gets even further. If I go back this way... Okay, it was showing it. It's behind it now. So it is taking the coordinates of the block into account when it's doing this somehow. Which might be because we're in this render code. Pushing a matrix, we're popping a matrix, we're pushing another one. Popping it. Sure, do I have those set up right? Let's do something like the loader. We have those reversed and don't realize it. Push. And pop. Do I need to do this inside of those? Like this? Nope, because then it still takes on the rotation of the thing. And there's more than one rotating around. That's funny. See, like, why did it take that long to stop rendering? Oh, let's pause there. Let's get a look and see what these values actually are. Watch. It's 56. Okay. We're not actually getting closer or further away from it either, because we don't have the translate in here. I think we need to subtract off the block position. Offset by the TEHS dot block position. Get position. Okay. Come on, you didn't do anything to it by doing that? The heck? $112. Oh, it put it higher actually, didn't it? So we want to go the opposite of the position of the block. It's not necessarily subtract either. Sub dot sub. So we've got our two positions. We've got a position of the block. So the area bounding box can be a different value because we can use the positions for our actual mount. So I was concerned about adjusting the actual area BB based on something other than these 0.1 and 2. But if they're public, we can use those for the scanning, which is really what we're after for that part of it. Dot offset. No dot subtract. That's a vector 3. It's not simple. Block position BP1 equals 0.1 dot why does it add gives you all those options, but subtract only gives you vector 3? BP1, BP2. So 2 and new vector 3. Was it vec 3? Or vec 3 I. New vec 3 I. Assuming just take the X, Y, and Z does, so can't take a block position though, of course. Not new. So this dot position get X. This dot position dot get Y. This dot position dot get Z. Let's try that. That didn't move it at all. I guess the other thing I could do is just effectively set it up by hand. Like each of the coordinates for this bounding box. Not use block positions, because we're just calculating them based on the position, but we don't need to. One part of the bounding box is going to be at 0, 0, 0, and the other part of the bounding box is going to be at... That's the way to do it, isn't it? The other part of the bounding box is going to be at the length, width, and height. So we'll keep the 0.1 and 0.2 stuff. I think that might still be correct for that, as to where those are in world coordinates, not relative to the machine. But when we create this new axis aligned bounding box, we can say 2 vector 3s or 6 doubles, I'm assuming that is. So we can use this one. So it'd be 0, 0, 0, and then front, right, up, and right. Now why did that not change again? What the heck? Oh, this isn't getting called. There we go. Now it's actually working. Okay. That's exactly right. Let's go now and take it to an extreme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my bounding box stuff, because this is right, but it's going from min to max on the x-axis only. So let's do the max axis on all 3. And the reason for that is we'll be able to see the 2 endpoints without having to create all of the different 12 lines. There we go. So we're going from that block to that point in space. So that's 1, 1, 1. Yep. So if we replace all these blocks now. It's going to the middle of that block, because that's right. Let's use glass. Okay. I can think. Promise. It's going to the top of the middle of that block, but that's okay. From the bottom of that one to the top of that one. Okay, so now we need to change the origin point of this to not be 0, 0, 0. Instead, it needs to be pushed out to the outer edge, like 0.5 and 0.5, I believe. Now we need to trigger that to run again, so we're going to do that. So now our line starts at the corner of that block and goes to the center of that block. So we can say front plus 0.5 and right plus 0.5. Okay, let's trigger it to run that code again. So from one corner of a block to another corner of a block, we're good. If we extend our front 2 positions forward, it goes to that one. Awesome. 1 to the right, it should go 1 over, which would be that block there. Perfect. And 1 up should be 1 up more. I think we've got the coordinates figured out. Okay. So now it's just a matter of drawing the lines around the outside instead of from one spot to the next between the 2 corners. That should be simple enough. The other piece I want to test here is I'm going to break that one and rotate it and see what we get. we get a line from this corner here going that way. That is not correct at all. So we had it correct for which direction? East. East is the home direction, I guess you can call it. Right? Yep. So this is what happens. This is what we needed to do when it's to the east. Okay? We're going to do that right there. And when it's to the south, we're going to do something completely different. When it's to the south, we need to subtract along the x instead of add. So we need to say negative 0.5 and negative 0.5 again, I think. Let's call that code. We're closer. So now are those mins that we're calling for? No, they're just any of them, and it's getting a min automatically. Okay. So we actually want it to go out this direction. So we need to subtract this twice. And this needs to be negative. Okay, we are starting from there, but the extra 0.5 is off, so it's this we need to do. I think the up's probably right, and we probably need to say negative on that and negative on that. Okay. So that's fine that we're up there in that corner. That's correct. This corner is not. It is too far to the negative z axis. So we actually didn't need to do that, did we? There we go. So now we're going across far enough. Now we need to go forward one, which should be in the positive z-axis. Right? Getting confused. Let's make it 3. It's only 2 forward though, because these two are counteracting each other. Okay. I don't think it needs negative at all. But continue plus. Pro Red, are you still out there? Does IntelliJ have automatic code replacement? There we go. I think we got it now. It looks funny because it's not coming from the block, because that is the min, or the max, right? It's a max because we're going in the opposite direction, the negative direction. But I think it's correct. So going south, we go negative on that. So going north, we should go positive on that. right? I think. And positive here. And positive here. So that was facing south. Let's face one to the north. Time set 0. So this is facing north. Okay, we need to, along this axis, we need to subtract. So one of those coordinates is right, the other one is not. It needs to be negative. I think that's correct. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. So this direction, which is what? West. Okay, so that was positive. That's negative. These are both positive, so I'm assuming both of these should be negative. I think we got it. Cool. So now we can come back in here, update this, and say we want this 12 times, right? So we want 1 for the first. 1 to min, min, min. And we just go along the z-axis first. Man, let's do x-axis first. It'll just make more sense to me. This will be min. Okay, then we're going to go along the x to z axis. So we'll say, let's do z next. With min on the x. So we got 1, 2, some dark block like my concrete or something. And then we need one going from max x on both of these. And then I'm going from max z. Right? Why do I not have... Oh. Really? It's in the z-axis. Oh, z. There. Okay, now we got our bottom square. We'll copy all of that, get our top square. By changing all of these minimums to max. Okay. And there's the top square. It's already taking shape, isn't it? Oh, well, that was a mistake. Okay, and now we need the vertical 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Top box. Top face box. This is bottom face box. And then the last 4 will be the vertical faces. Vert lines. Right. And those will be from min to max on the y-axis. And one's going to be from min x to min x, min z, and then min z, max x, or you know what I mean, min x, max z, then max here on the x, min z, and then we need another one that's on max x. Oh, it's max all around. I should do it. Oop. Save. There we go. We got our full cube. And if we go in here, that's the wrong direction. Okay, so front is not right, at least in that case. That is correct. That is not. And it is there. So front is correct when it's facing to the west, but not when it's to the north or south. Okay. So we need to reverse these. When it's to the north, it should be front and right. Like that. I think that'll fix it. Now we might have to adjust the minuses on it, but I think we're close. There we go. So we got 6, 1, 1, 1. 6, 1, 1, 1. 6, 1, 1, 1. Okay, let's make sure there's actually 6 blocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the bounding box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So let's make them all to the right one more. So it would be 2 wide. Cool. 2 wide. 2 wide. 2 wide. Cool. And then one more for up, which should be plain simple because up is the same for all of them. And we've got it. Okay, now the next problem is I don't know that this at 0.1, 0.2 are correct. We'll have to figure out how to solve for that, but we'll do that in a bit. I want to do one thing, and that is look at the tower crane rendering code. And I'm going to look at the tower crane rendering code because it has in it, or not the ending. Is it the rendering code? I don't think it's the rendering code. The block. Tower crane. It has some special attributes set to it to make it always render the block, basically. There it is. Should side be rendered is always set to true. So if I look at the call hierarchy, should side be rendered? Hey, Fire. Hello.
Forgot to turn my mic on. Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, I am absolutely getting rich in No Man's Sky.
I seen your post. It's in the get bounty box. Just get bounty box. Get called by something for rendering. It's called for get collision bounds. Collision ray trace. Can entity be seen? I think that's what we need to set. So we need to set this get bounding box to something that includes the other bounding box. Really? Let's make sure there's nothing in the tile entity render. No, what's this is global renderer though. That might be what we needed. Yeah, let's try that one. Well, wait. We probably have it. Oh no. Already tile entity. Yeah, well, we don't. Cool. Yeah, I gotta terminate. So let's restart it. And I might be taking a break soon, Fire. Just because I'm starting to get hungry and I smell the family is cooking something. It's making me hungry. I wasn't hungry earlier when my wife's like, I'm gonna make some sandwiches. Do you want one? I'm like, no, I'm not that hungry. Now that I smell it, I'm hungry. So what you missed last night, Fire, is I created what we're effectively calling a holo scanner, which is the replacement for the item I was calling laser level. So we won't have that as an item. We're going to have it as a block. It's something you're going to plop down in the world. You're going to right click on it and it's going to have a GUI on it that says, you know, the front distance, the right distance, and the up distance. That's the area that will allow you to scan in. So it should make scanning these things easy, or setting the scanning area very easy. Still not rendering it right. Well, we'll have to figure that out. So you can actually see a bounding box in the world that is what this thing's going to scan. It should simplify it a lot, because before I was like right clicking in one spot, right clicking in another spot, and then if you had like an area where you wanted to scan what's up in the air, like you had to place a block so you could click on it and then remove the block, but you couldn't remove it because it already had the GUI open when you hit save. It was just it wasn't gonna work basically. You're gonna make 140 horses workout? What? Are you gonna drive a car, you're saying? What do you mean, Eagle? And that 32 by 32 area is going to be huge. Okay. I thought you might mean something like that. How can I get this to always render? I did it for the stupid tower crane. Just can't remember what option was. So when I look at it like this, I can still see it. Still see it clear over here. There's no bounty box to be shown on this thing. Was it the massively sized bounty box thing? It is 30 tall, but it's only 1 thick. Might have to look through my old code for that then. Okay, for now, we have a functioning one. It's not exactly the way I want it to look. It's got a few bugs in it still. But it's better than nothing so far. We got some Z fighting going on as well. We'll have to figure out how to adjust for that. What's my FPS looking at this? It's a solid 60 because I'm locked in VSync a bit. I'm at 120 because we're locked the other way. Boop. $292 looking at this with streaming too, so it should be fine. Okay, like I said, I'm gonna take a break from streaming. I'm gonna eat some lunch, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye.